Welcome to EnfinityCast, where we explore the patterns that shape our world. I'm your host, Niko Ardent. Today we're diving into a paradox that lives at the heart of our social lives. How can a group of people be, at once, brilliantly wise and terrifyingly foolish? To help me unravel this, I'm joined by my co-host, Calyx Rowe. Welcome, Calyx.
Thanks for having me, Niko. It's a huge question. It reminds me of that classic story about the statistician Francis Galton at a country fair in the early 1900s. He saw a contest where people were guessing the weight of an ox. Hundreds of people, from experts to total novices, wrote down their guess.
And none of them got it right, I assume.
Individually, no. But this is where it gets fascinating. Galton took all 787 guesses and calculated the median. The crowd's collective guess was 1,207 pounds. The actual weight of the ox? 1,198 pounds. They were off by less than 1%. That, in a nutshell, is the wisdom of the crowd.
It's an incredible result. It suggests that if you aggregate enough diverse, independent judgments, you can get startlingly close to the truth. But then you see a viral social media challenge that ends in disaster, or a stock market bubble driven by pure hype, and you have to ask, where did that wisdom go? What turns the wise crowd into the madness of the mob?
I think the key word you used is independent. In the ox example, each person made their guess privately. They weren't influenced by the person next to them shouting, "It's definitely 1,500 pounds." The madness begins when that independence collapses. We stop thinking for ourselves and start copying what others are doing.
It becomes an information cascade.
Exactly. The first few opinions, whether they're right or wrong, get amplified. People see others adopting a belief and assume, well, they must know something I don't, so they discard their own private information and join the cascade. Suddenly, you don't have 100 independent minds. You have one or two initial ideas being echoed by 100 voices.
And that's the birth of an echo chamber. We see it online constantly. Algorithms show us content they know we'll agree with, connecting us with people who already think like us. It feels validating, but it systematically starves us of the diverse perspectives that made the crowd wise in the first place. We lose the ability to correct our own errors.
Right. So for the wisdom to emerge, you need a few key ingredients. You need diversity of opinion, you need the judgments to be independent, and you need a way to aggregate them fairly. The moment communication within the group becomes less about sharing unique information and more about signaling conformity, the system breaks. The mob doesn't average its guesses, it amplifies its biases.
It's such a fine line, isn't it? The very tools that connect us and allow us to share knowledge can also become the architects of our collective delusion. It seems the structure of our conversations matters just as much, if not more, than the content.
That's the core of it. We are social learners, but we have to be careful how we learn from each other. True collective intelligence isn't about consensus at all costs. It's about constructively managing our disagreements.
A perfect place to leave our listeners with something to reflect on. How can we, in our own lives, foster the conditions for wisdom instead of madness? Thank you so much for that insight, Calyx.
Anytime, Niko.
That's all the time we have for today on EnfinityCast. Join us next time as we continue to map the unseen forces that shape our reality.